Victor Wembanyama is the definition of a certified menace to society. This is a guy you hate to play against. And the crazy part is, his offensive game, it's not even anywhere close to being polished. He's got a long way to go. I guess I've been living under a rock because I really didn't know the NBA preseason was going on until a couple of nights ago. Nobody told me anything, and I blame that on you guys because y'all weren't tagging me on anything on Twitter or Instagram. So I'm going to blame that on y'all, but you know, at the end of the day, it is only preseason. I really don't care too much about it, and to give you a perspective on me, I would consider myself a casual NBA basketball fan. I watch every single playoff game, don't get it twisted, but the regular season, nah, could care less. Unless it's a big time game that's been hyped up, or like on Christmas when they always play, I normally don't tune in. And also, too, I'm going to chop this up, too. It is the middle of college football season and the NFL is going on. And you know that's what we mainly talk about during this time of the year. But man, oh man, mama, there goes that man. We're going to take a slight break from the football content because we got to talk about what Wembanyama's done. Not just last night, but in his past 4 games. Last night really opened my eyes, though, because I was watching the Warriors versus the Spurs game and he doesn't look real. He looks like an alien. I get it. It's cliche. You're probably tired of it now, but he doesn't look like he should be out there. It's still so mind-boggling for me, even though I've watched all of his highlights, I've watched a ton of film, I've seen him play time after time after time, that he's that tall, that lanky, but he moves like a point guard. And also to go on top of that, he has a really good jump shot. I mean, what is this guy? And the way he's been looking in preseason, granted, take it with a grain of salt, it's just preseason, I think the sky's the limit for him. I don't want to sit up here and start talking about, oh, can he be the greatest of all time? But if he can stay healthy, you're talking about one of the most dominating factors and forces this league has ever seen. And I stated this when we talked about the Summer League. He will win Defensive Player of the Year. Or my bad. In my humble opinion, he probably should win the award, and I'll explain why. We saw it in the Summer League. We've seen it in the preseason. He affects the entire offense. Even when he's on the offside of the ball, you still got to worry about him. The dude's flat out unreal on defense, and that's why I think he's such a special player, because even if he's 1 for 15 on offense, you got to keep him out there just from a defensive standpoint. And if he is hitting his shots, and we'll get to that in just a second, and I say this in the offseason as well, he's the definition of unstoppable. You can't stop him. And I know what you're sitting there saying, well, Matt, what do you mean you can't stop him? And let me explain. Hear me out. Wembanyama is roughly, I think a lot of people say he's 7'3", but to me, he looks 7'4", 7'5". We'll say he's 7'4". Well, with his long wingspan and how tall he is, you literally can't even contest him. And people don't understand this. You'll see somebody on him, but it doesn't matter. Every shot for him, it's uncontested. If you're a hooper, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just because you have a hand up doesn't mean it's contested. That's why it's harder for guards that are 6'1" to make it in the NBA. It's way harder for them to get their shot off, but Wembanyama can get a shot off whenever he wants. Take a look at this series right here. He blocks Andrew Wiggins. Okay, then he has a great contest on Curry. He goes down there, one-man offense, creates an easy pass for a layup. He's a one-man show. With the great coaching staff that the Spurs have, he can carry the Spurs team. I'm not going to say to the finals, but definitely to the playoffs. And this sequence right here, yet again, another block, but what's new? He's probably going to average 7, maybe. Nah, 8's too much. He could average 7 blocks per game. But anyways, like I was saying, blocks the shot. And then on a fast break, let me emphasize that, a fast break, he pulls up for a 3. You know what this reminds me of? Back when I used to play NBA 2K16 and 17. And oh yeah, by the way, speaking of 2K's trash. I quit playing after 17 because I don't know what happened to that whole franchise. The game just sucks now. For example, last night he finished with 19 points. That's pretty good, right? 5 blocks, impressive. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. In only 20 minutes. And in his last 4 preseason games, he's averaging right at 19.3 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, and 2.8 blocks. Keep in mind, gotta throw this in there, he's not playing the entire game. And I want to make this astronomically clear. I am the last person, number one, to talk about basketball in the midst of college football and NFL season. And I'm also the last person to hype somebody up in the preseason. So you know when I'm speaking on this, it's special. I'll give you a good comparison for my college football fans that are tuning in. This is exactly like Deion Sanders. He's must-see TV. Victor Wembanyama has me, a casual basketball fan, wanting to watch meaningless regular season games. And of course, every game matters, but you get my point. Normally, I just tune into the postseason. This is a good comment right here. Somebody said, this is legit how Kareem used to look against the guys in the early 70s. And that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't look real. It looks prehistoric. It looks like when you're the older brother and your younger brother and his friends ask if you want to play basketball in the backyard and you just completely dominate them. And what I can't get over, and we haven't even talked about this enough, is how coordinated he is to be that tall. Because most people, when we see these 7-footers, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, they're clumsy as heck. They look goofy when they're walking and all that stuff. You throw them the ball, it looks like they've never seen a ball before, and they dribble it off their foot. Well, this guy, Wembanyama, like I said, he has the skills of a point guard or shooting guard. And speaking of shooting, I can't talk about his form enough. For a guy to be that tall and have, I mean, he arguably has some of the best form you'll ever see out of a rookie. Impeccable. It's really unreal. And I know it seems like I'm just hyping this dude up, but yet again, I'm just giving credit where it's due. And since we're talking about Kareem, now I think about it, is this what Wilt Chamberlain used to do back in the day? Is this how he looked? That's what I assume. Having this dude on your team is a definition unfair, and here's what I've been paying attention to when I've been watching him playing these preseason games. If he's guarding you, and the difference is, he can contest Steph Curry, or he can contest Klay Thompson or any shot standing like 5 or 6 feet away. He doesn't have to be up on you and he can block shots. You've seen him do it all the time already. And at the same time, though, when he does press up a little bit, he doesn't have to do it much, but when he does press up, he can guard a lot of these players. And here's the great thing about being 7'5", even if they blow past you a little bit, you can just block them. Victor Wembanyama is the definition of a certified menace to society. This is a guy you hate to play against. You see this guy guarding you, this is when you put your head down and shake your head, you're like, oh, it's going to be a long night. And the crazy part is, his offensive game, it's not even anywhere close to being polished. He's got a long way to go. But still, even with that being said, he's averaging 19, 20 points per game. To me, at least, what I've taken away from all these preseason games is his defense is unreal, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. His on-ball defense is great, and the off-ball defense even better. The offensive come, I'm not worried about that, and I wonder how much, and not just how much, but how Popovich is going to use them. I wonder if they're going to have some design plays for him in the post, or if they're just going to let him kind of roam around and do whatever he wants. Because to me, at least in the preseason, it doesn't even look like they're designing plays for him, and he's still dropping 20 points. I mean, hey, do we see a case and scenario where he's coming off of screens like Curry or Klay Thompson? I don't think that's crazy. Because if he comes off of the screen, even if you're sticking on him, like I said, he can just rise over defenders and shoot. To me, at least, if I was coaching, I would definitely put him in some pick and pop situations because I think he likes those. I don't think he's a pick and roller type of guy because he is a little frail, and those guys will beat him up down low. But when you do a pick and pop and you throw him the ball, he can either rise up and shoot, or he can back the guy down. He can do whatever he wants, almost like an ISO at that point, especially if you get a mismatch. And I say if you get a mismatch, but almost anybody guarding him is a mismatch. I'm curious. I'm really curious. Let me know in the comment section. How do you think Wembanyama's going to play this year? I don't think, I think maybe potential. This is best case scenario. He can be an all-star. He's not going to be a superstar in year 1. That's just ridiculous. Maybe in year 3, 4, maybe. That's too far down the road. But like I was saying, I think potentially if he's playing to his best abilities, he can be an all-star for sure, because I assume on a Spurs team, he could average, 18 points per game, maybe 8, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, something like that. Let me know what you think he's going to do in this upcoming season. I'm going to leave it at this. I want to keep this a short, sweet, and simple video. He looks, in the preseason at least, unfreaking real. Unreal, man, unreal. I did want to speak on this. Let me know your thoughts down below, but